Hi, welcome, Katherine. It's lovely to see you again. So we're here today to have a quick informal chat, actually, about some interesting developments regarding an event that we've organised. And this is called Society, you've got it as well, Controlled or Free to Us, which is in just shy of 3 weeks' time, isn't it, in London on the 11th of April. And you're going to tell us a story about your sort of campaigning regarding that event. So you go ahead and tell us all about that.
That's right. So yes, we were up in London a couple of weeks ago and we were giving out these flyers. And obviously London is a huge area to cover. So we decided that we'd go to Notting Hill Gate and cover Portobello Road because there are lots of independent businesses there. And we really wanted to talk to the business owners about how they're experiencing the changes in London, like ULEZ, and whether they're noticing more surveillance, whether they can still roll up in a van outside their shop and unload what they need to, whether people are paying more digitally via card or with cash. So those were some of the questions that I was armed with when I spoke to people. Other people were just putting flyers also through letterboxes because there is a kind of nerve-wracking salesman thing that when you talk to people you can get rejected. I've done so much talking to people and being rejected that I'm not fussed about it. It's like water off a duck's back, to get there's always going to be some people who don't want to talk to you, they're busy. But there'll always be some who you touch on something that interests them and actually they want to talk, they want to get it off their chest. So we spoke to a lot of business owners, and there are quite a lot of Asian businesses, clothes, jewelry down Portobello Road. And I noticed there's a lot of merchandising around the film Notting Hill, endless bags with pictures of Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts, and you think, you know, people are trying to eke out a living through selling. Often repeated shops are selling exactly the same thing, so they're in competition with each other. So I was talking to this Asian guy and asking him about ULEZ, and he sort of, rolled his eyes and said, "Oh, it's a disaster, for his business traveling around." And I spoke to somebody else who's got several shops and trying to again restock the shops is a problem. And one of these guys said that he was on a big group, a big WhatsApp group, and he would share our event, and he thought it was really good that we were doing this work.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
what I discovered briefly is that people are feeling like they have to work very, very hard,
Mm,
and they don't have enough time to address the kind of issues that we were
mm,
bringing up with
mm.
them. They know things are going on, but they don't have time to address them because they've got mouths to feed, business to run, etc. And I
Yeah.
was, yeah, so that was the sort of main thrust of what a lot of people said. There was one lady who had a shop and she was out the back, I think, having a sandwich. Anyway, I sort of knocked on the door because I could hear talking. And I asked her what she thought about ULEZ, and she said she thought it was a great idea. She said she thought all cars should be parked outside London and the whole of London should just be public transport. And I'm like, there's like a those are almost like the two extremes, aren't there? On
Yeah.
this side,
Yeah.
you've got no cars in London, the lovely idea of paved streets and buses or trams or whatever it might be, and underground, and everyone can move freely. But then on the other hand, you've got all these small businesses that are being pushed out by the bigger businesses. We came out at I can't remember, Bond Street. And all you could see there was not one independent coffee shop. It was
Mm.
Costa, Cafe
Yeah.
Nero, Pret, you
Yeah.
name it, it was them.
Starbucks. Yeah.
And this is what we're seeing.
Mm.
As the and this same Asian guy said to me, sorry, not the lady who wanted the traffic-free London, but the Asian, going back to the Asian guy, he said that now 3/4 of the payments that he gets are digital by card. He said that before, 10 years ago, 3/4 of the payments would have been by cash. And
Wow.
he said that this is a huge turnaround. He would much, much prefer to get cash, even
Mm.
though it is actually, more difficult to deal with. So these are some of the reflections from the business owners, and they are aware that carrying cash around is more difficult, but they're also aware of the control that can be exerted if
Mm.
everything is done digitally. So
No,
I think,
that's
sorry, yeah,
amazing, Katherine. I was just going to say you've touched on some really important points there because, first of all, we keep going on about this event, but I'm going to hold up the
yes,
flyer once again. The society controlled or free, it's up to us in 3 weeks' time. One of the things that you said was that obviously you've got polarized opinions. Some people seem to think that, having a car-free existence in London is perhaps an advantage. Now, the difference with London to any other city or any other area in the world is it's got a huge underground network. It's got a very active bus, public bus service, probably buses every 2 to 3 minutes, the trams, as you say, as well as the trains, which all feed into London. So its infrastructure of public transport doesn't anywhere mirror any other city or any other sort of small town in the whole of the country. So it's one thing to have London maybe doing it, it's quite something else for everywhere else. And I'm not suggesting I agree even with the lady's opinion. I'm just commenting that the infrastructures are not there to roll this out, sort of countrywide or nationwide. The other interesting thing is that the gentleman talked about how, he hasn't got the time to address these issues because people have got mouths to feed. And I think this is why our events are important, because we're going to be getting people who are of that many vast different opinions, some who may of course be pro this sort of idea of perhaps reducing car usage, but I would imagine that a lot of people there will be interested to first of all realise just how their view on this is not alone, that it's very much shared as a genuine concern among most members of the public. Where is the direction of travel? No pun intended. But also, the part of the event that we've got, which is a Q&A session, is very important because we're going to try and offer some solutions, some ways in which people, without having to do hours and hours of work every week necessarily, or every day or anything like that, we're just being connected and understanding certain things that are going on in your local neighborhoods, how other people feel about it, bringing people together so that they can actually realize that this doesn't have to be a society where we have a top-down government, imposing their will on the people. So I just think that's probably an interesting area to leave this. And please, everyone, if you've seen this event advertised, Facebook, on Twitter, or any social media places, please do consider coming along. It's £20, £25 full price, but it's in 3 weeks' time in London, and it's a good 4.5 hour long event. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. See you soon.
Thanks.